Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. I'm your host, Glenn Poole Harding. And tonight, we got a very special guest. This basketball head was a great player at Bishop Ford High School, garnering all Brooklyn honors, proving he belonged amongst the top players in New York City. After destroying the Brooklyn Catholic school scene, Mr. Versatile took his game to the Big East for 2 years before transferring to Rhode Island in the Atlantic 10. Then he joined fellow Brooklyn native and Abraham Lincoln legend Carlton Silk Owens at Rhode Island. Together, Silk, Tom Garrett, and Kenny Green would make the school's first Sweet 16 appearance in 1987 and 88. This basketball head had a smooth touch with a high IQ and could play multiple positions. He took his basketball talents overseas and played in the top professional leagues in Belgium, Spain, Italy, Argentina, and Portugal. He was the league MVP in 1994, and his career scoring average was 23 points a game. He even scored 69 points in one game and still hold the single game scoring record in Portugal. Now, as one of the top coaches in New Jersey, he is currently the head varsity coach for the boys and girls at St. Bernard School. For the past 11 years for the boys and 6 years for the girls. And I don't know if y'all heard me right, he coached the boys and girls. His boys team garnered a record of 152-5 with 10 division titles. His girls was ranked a low 325th out of 327 teams. And for years, now they ranked as high as third. No recruiting, no height, just ball. This basketball head coaches what he has. Nothing more, nothing less. If you don't know, now you know. Help me welcome Bishop Ford and Rhode Island great, Coach Mergin Sina.
Y'all ready? Yes. You have just stepped out into the world of chaos. Where everybody goes hard. Come on. Go hard. 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 Or go home. Never back down. You gotta hold your own. Go hard. 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 East Coast. Go hard. West Coast. Go hard. Midwest. Go hard. Dirty. Hurry up, everybody. Get online. Buy your tickets cause the game about to start.
What's up? What's going on, my brother?
Thank you for the intro. Great. Obviously, we're going through some difficult times, but, love talking basketball. And I love going back to the New York roots. The funny thing about me is, as much as I've been in New Jersey, between my AAU stuff and my high school stuff, I always run into everybody I played against. So the stories are always going on and on and on. So it's great. Basketball connects everybody.
Yes, definitely. And it brings everybody together.
100%.
Thank you for everybody that's in the room. Welcome to Basketball Heads Live. My guy, Jamel Powell, the resident artist, is in the building.
Looks great back there, man. I love the stuff he does, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. So look, we got a lot of things to talk about, right?
Sure.
Well, first question I like to ask everyone, who introduced you to the game, Merge?
I mean, the game was pretty interesting myself. It was pretty much the parks. I grew up in the parks in Brooklyn and had an older cousin who played. I wasn't very good at a young age. I was gawky, kind of skinny. Didn't know if I could make it in the sport, but I watched my cousin Tom Sina play. He was a pretty good high school player, very good at a young age. And that kind of got me involved in playing. And it started out in the parks and it built from there.
Okay. Are you from Brooklyn?
Brooklyn raised. Not born. I was born in Italy, but Brooklyn raised.
Hey, that's what look. You got your bones here in Brooklyn, so
100%.
that's what counts.
It's 100%.
What part of Brooklyn?
Brooklyn guy, all the way.
What part of Brooklyn,
I live on
Merge?
Ocean Parkway. I live on Ocean Parkway, right off of Catalia and Ditmas Avenue. So about a 10-minute bus ride, 15-minute bus ride to Bishop Ford. You know, I was right there.
Right, because I was gonna say, bro, you kept going down Ocean Parkway. You could have been with us at Lincoln, man.
No, it was all the way on the other end, though. We were divided by a lot of streets, but I know Lincoln well. So yeah, I know Lincoln well.
Right. So who was your first coach coming up?
So I mean, obviously, coming up, CYO, we had, I played for St. Rose and Lima, and during those times, played against like James Majors, so all these guys that I ended up playing against in high school, and then some played with in college and against a lot of them. So yeah, CYO started up in a small parish, St. Rose and Lima, and built my way up to Bishop Ford. Ray Nash was my coach at high school, obviously. But I've been coached by a lot of different people. Frank Mickens, did some stuff with us in the Big Apple and Empire State games.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so I was around a lot. People don't realize, like, when you're young in Brooklyn, 12 years old, 11 years old, I used to get on a train. I used to go to Rucker Pro. I used to go to Queens. And everybody's like, "You went by yourself?" I go, "Yeah, that's what we did.
That's right.
We went on a train, went on a bus. We traveled. We played all day." That's one thing the kids these days don't see anymore. They don't do it enough. And but that's what really kind of set the table for all of us players. Obviously Carlton, Owens, and I played with him in college, and I got some great stories about him. Yeah, so basketball's been my life, literally. Everything's been about basketball.
So when you was coming up, your cousin was the best player in the neighborhood?
He was really, really good. His freshman year, he was up there with with Chris Mullen and those guys. He played with those boys. He was really that good. He flatlined a little bit as he got older, but as a seventh, eighth grader, he was one of the best in New York.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So how was your time at Bishop Ford? We talk about Ray Nash being your coach. He coached me as well in the Empire State games.
Sure.
And I also played with Pete.
Yes.
Right?
Pete Nice.
He was on my team in the Empire State games.
He was applying
which signed the Def Jam, right?
Yeah, that was a funny situation. But yeah, Ray Nash was my coach. I went to Ditmas Junior High School up until 9th grade. And quite honestly, I had a really bad 9th grade. I got kind of hooked up with the wrong crew, and my schoolwork started to tank a little bit. And, I was very lucky to have an opportunity to play at Bishop Ford. It kind of cleaned me up a little bit in that sense. Got me back with the academics, the structure, the coaching. And I'll be honest with you, if I didn't make that move, I probably wouldn't be where I am today in the coaching world. Because, bad decisions could lead into bad future, and I was very fortunate that people took care of me.
What was that turning point?
Yeah, it was in 9th grade. I just, I wasn't sure. I was a good basketball player, but, I got caught up, school was going bad for me. And I decided, hey, Bishop Ford, it was a great opportunity. And, there I got to play against some of the best players in New York City, Mark Jackson, James Major, the Wheeler brothers at Lockton. I don't remember the Wheeler brothers. And,
yes, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had Ed Davitt.
Big time ballers.
Yeah, John Johnson.
Fingers inside.
New York. I wanted to continue and hopefully play in college. And, obviously every player's dream is to go to play professionally. So, yeah, Bishop Ford was really a turning point for me. It really gave me that opportunity.
So you were the leading scorer at, before you left Bishop Ford, like the senior year. Was it like that breakout year?
I was a scorer, I was a scorer. My coach always told me I didn't play much defense, but he knew I used to put the ball in the hole. I used to do it. The big thing about Bishop Ford is, we didn't have a fancy name. Obviously, Christ the King, Malloy, Bishop Lachlan, we were kind of in the middle of the pack. But the great thing about Bishop Ford was I got an opportunity to play against those teams every week. And, I had a lot of energy in those games. So, I try to put it on as many points I can against those guys because you weren't going to win too many games against those teams. So
that's right.
Yeah.
Was the variant you guys are rivals, or was it Bishop Loughlin?
Well, Severian was our big rival because my coach just, for some reason, went crazy with Severian. He just wanted to beat him every year. We could never beat him. But I mean, every game was, played hard, competition. But yeah, I would say Severian was our biggest rivalry, but Bishop Loughlin was very, very good as well.
Who did you pattern your game after?
I mean, I was back then. I wish I played now because I think
Same here. My game is so suited to now.
Yeah,
and even back then, but dependent,
Back then, there were so many of me. Like there were so many, guys played like different. There were a lot of versatility. Shot the ball well. I mean, I did a little bit of everything, but initially, when I went to Seton, I was a 2-guard. When I transferred to Rhode Island, it's a great story. I sat out that year, and Carlton and them went to the NIT, and they had won 20 games, had a good season, but we knew they were very young and would be very good the following year. So I had a great offseason, and so they lost to Florida State, I think, in the second round of NIT, and I had gone upstairs to Tom Penders, and I'm waiting for him to say, hey, we need you next year. You're going to be in the guard spot, because I was a guard. He goes, and, so I'm pumped up. So I sat down in front of him. He looked at me. He goes, you're not going to play next year. So I go, what do you mean, coach? He goes, if you don't put on 15 pounds and figure out a way to be a 4-man, you're never going to play. I got Carlton and Tom Garrick in the backcourt. I don't see any time for you there.
Facts.
I had no choice. And, a lot of players don't realize this. Sometimes you have to do that, and you've got to make the adjustment. And I tell you, I never played the 4 in my life, but I needed to get on the court, and I did it, and I ended up being like the leading rebounder that year, or second leading rebounder on the team. But I never banged around with anybody before that. But you
was that stretch 4. You was that stretch 4 because you can take it outside as well as shoot that jumper.
I had that game, but I had to rebound and fight, and I never did that before. So, but it actually helped me in the future for the pro game. Because now I could rebound, I could dribble, I could shoot. So in Europe, 2 Americans against 2 Americans most of the time. So I'm getting the rebound, I'm going lane to the floor, and I'm scoring as well. So the game completely, evolved that way. So it was a great. It actually worked out well for me. It made my career longer.
Okay. So what was it at Seton Hall that made you want to leave? Was it the fit?
Well, I mean, look, at that Seton Hall freshman year, I wasn't ready. I was a 6'6", 170, soaking wet, skinny dude trying to play in the Big East. And the Big East was a monster. I mean, Georgetown, Villanova in the 80s were like, forget about it. My sophomore year, I had started, but John Morton came in. And John Morton was a hell of a talent,
Yes.
And no matter what, it wasn't going to work out for me in the position that I wanted to play. And that's pretty much the reason. And me and John got along. Me and John actually ended up running into each other in Spain, and we played a little bit on the same team in the professional league. So,
wow.
But it wasn't John. It was just, I think it was just position. And obviously he was a hell of a player. So I don't think I would have won that battle at the time. So, yeah. So I think that's really one of the main reasons why I ended up leaving for another opportunity.
Okay. So you move on to Rhode Island, and you guys make an incredible run.
Yep.
Now listen, I'm gonna tell you, we was watching every game because I was at FDU at the time, and it's crazy. Silk was at our school the night before the Duke game.
he was my roommate, and I beat him up on that move. By the way, I remember that night well. But he had a great game, so I just handed it to him.
But you go figure, yeah. He still went out there and he killed him.
Yeah. Silk. Look. I tell people this all the time, and Silk was on my staff a few years back at Gill. I don't know if you know that. I don't know if we mentioned that to you.
No. Okay.
Yeah, so Silk was with me for a little bit. We still talk. We're lifelong. We'll be connected forever. Silk, in my opinion, should have been an NBA lifer. I think he had that ability. At that time, the small guard they worried about. In the NBA.
Yeah.
So he was probably in a wrong era, or maybe a few years there where they weren't taking undersized guards, if you want to call them. But I thought he was unbelievable. He scored over 2,000 points on Rhode Island. He's an all-time leading scorer. And some big dudes that played there. Sly Williams, Odom, Coutinho Mobley. The Silk's there, man. So yeah, he was unreal.
So listen, so you playing with some dogs in your team, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, yeah, great players.
And it comes down to that time when you got to make your own bones and try to figure out how you fit into this puzzle.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the thing. You have to fit. Right.
What was it, that game that you had that let you know that not only that you can fit in this puzzle, that you can take your game to the next level and play in the professional stage?
It's funny you mention that because we had played Rutgers middle of my junior year there. And I had one of these games where I kind of put it all together. I think I scored like 24. I had like 13 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals in one game. So I kind of knew I had a little bit of everything. I just couldn't put it all together at every time because we had 2 great guards. And for me, I had to be maybe that third and even the fourth wheel because Kenny Green was on the team, was another great player on that team. So I just had to find a way to just, fit in there. And hopefully my senior year, I would have had a better opportunity. So that's really all I wanted to do at that point was win because it was fun, man. You beat teams. You didn't care about the scoring. You didn't care about any of that stuff. You know what I mean? We were just happy to beat Syracuse and beat Missouri, and it was just a great ride.
Yeah, y'all got D. Chivas and I'm out of here.
Yeah, Derek. Like I said, we run into the guys we played against in high school. I mean, all these guys we're running into. That's how good New York City basketball was.
Yes, crazy. And listen, and you fit right up in there, man.
Different. I just,
brother, we all played our part,
100%.
and you doing it on another level now because of what you did in Brooklyn. Without those Brooklyn experiences,
I would have never been where I am today if it wasn't for Brooklyn basketball, and I mean that. Going to Rutgers, playing down in Brownsville, playing down up in 135th. I mean, it was just, you get a certain thing, right? That kids even these days will never get to experience again. They really don't. They would never understand it unless they were part of it. But it just excited you and it wanted you to push even more. And it was great. And by the way, I'm going to make this on record. In the Rutgers Pro League, I was the original, the Pistol Pete of that park. They call me Pistol Pete first at the Rutgers Pro. After that,
talk your talk.
Guys
Talk your talk.
That's the truth. And
hey, I'm glad you went there because now I want to know who asked you bust.
Oh,
that gonna listen. This is no disrespect. This is about basketball. It's always that time and that player who we come against that kind of make us who we are. Either we play against the All-American and he has like 40 and we get like 38, but we know we can play against the best, or we outshine them.
No.
Either or, it's the win.
And as you know, one game can make you a legend down there. So
come on.
Yeah, I'll tell you a story, and it was true. Like we were about to go to Rutgers Pro. I was going to play with a bunch of older guys. I was young, 17, and they were playing against Ed Pickney, Mark Jackson. They were loaded. I forgot the team. They had 4 or 5 pros on the team. But I was a young buck, But I was playing with a team called Brooklyn USA with this guy Tommy Sig, and I was kind of not feeling that well. We played down at West Fourth, had a so-so game. I wasn't sure if I was going to go down. My cousin Tommy goes, "Come on, let's go down and play." And I go, "Tom, I really don't know." So I ended up going down there, and the park was packed. And I think I scored like 40 to 50. I mean, it was. And again, Mark and I mean, I was going. And the people jumping on the the court. So that stuff is that was a big memory for me because that made my mark in that park, and that kind of set the tone for me playing out there. But yeah, that was something I really, really enjoyed. It was a great memory.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now I know we kind of moved out of the realm of college, but before that, who are some of the schools that recruited you?
I mean, the crazy thing was I was getting recruited by like the same Bonaventures of the world early on, but my body type just wasn't. A lot of people weren't sure, and I'll be honest with you, it was about the first week of April. I wasn't signed until my senior year. And I just didn't. I just thought I was better than I was getting recruited, maybe. And I was a little disappointed. But I kind of got lucky, you know. So at the end, Seton Hall had a roster spot available, and PJ watched me, but he didn't watch me. He watched other guys, but he saw me do some things in Elmcore. We played in some of the AU leagues that he watched, and he offered me, and I took it. I said, you know what? I don't care. You know, if I don't play, I just want to get in there. Big East is great. And it was a great decision. Even though it didn't work out at Seton Hall for me, it ended up being a great decision because I got to play at a high level and moved on from that. So, yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. A lot of guys who I talk to on here, you know, either it's the right fit or it's not the right fit.
Sure.
Do you talk to your players about making sure that they go to schools that's the right fit for them?
Yes. You know, the biggest thing that I try to teach the players, like, look, it's going to be different in college, right? Now, the right fit, it could be the right fit, but if you're not prepared for it, no fit's the right fit. So I try to tell my guys, listen, and what I try to do with my high school kids is I train them, I coach them, I teach them just like a college coach would teach them. So when a college coach gets them, they're somewhat ready. No freshman's 100% ready, but
Right.
when they get to a college, I want the coach to know, oh, that guy's been coached. And that's the thing, the biggest thing I tell the kids. But you're right. Don't go two levels too high. Don't go 2 levels too low. Go to a level where you can play at.
Yeah. I talk about Isaiah Washington, and it's no disrespect to him, and his journey.
Yep.
And I just look at the amount of talent that come from New York City that go to the Big Ten. The Big Ten is a different kind of basketball. It's not the Big East.
No. Very physical.
Right? It's not the SEC.
Very physical league.
Because it's a football. It's a football conference. So everyone is very physical.
And you know, every game is not. You know, you got Purdue, you got Michigan, you got Michigan State. You know, then you're getting Maryland now. Like, you know, so there's no days off. Not that the Big East there is, but you know what I mean. There's always going to be a couple of teams you might have. You know.
And not too much flair in that conference.
No, it's all brute. It's brute force, man. Those guys are playing hard every possession.
So when I talk to kids as well, you know, about where they want to go, I just want to make sure it's the best fit for them academically,
sure,
and also that they can play athletics as well.
Very important to get the balance. Absolutely.
Okay. So now we still on college, right?
Yep.
James, this is the James Majors question. And since you went to Seton Hall, you can verify this. Okay. Merge.
Okay.
Merge.
If it has to do with any type of gambling, I'll refuse to say anything.
No. Listen,
Good.
all of this is perfectly legal.
No.
We talk about when we go on road trips, right?
Right.
There's a per diem that's usually set aside for players.
Yes.
In college basketball,
yes,
which is all legal,
yes,
right? So I asked him how much did they get per diem. He was like 85, around 85, 86, like $5.
Right. We weren't getting a lot.
And I didn't so I looked at Merge. I went to Fairleigh Dickinson, right? We was getting at least for a road trip $300 to $500.
Right.
We went to California, we probably got like $700.
Yeah. We weren't getting a lot. We never understood it.
I didn't get that.
Well, this is why I went to the gambling situation. We literally had to play blackjack. James didn't play because James was smart, because he wanted to save the little he had. But the other guys, Ricky Burton, Andre McLeod, who played, we used to play blackjack against each other so we could get some extra money to buy some more food on the road. You know, so it was an interesting time. But they've come a long way. I'm sure they're paying a lot more.
Yeah. I said I'm gonna keep that. That's gonna be the James Majors question, and just see, you know, what guys was getting back then. That's crazy. Now, again, you guys, that Sweet 16 run, right? That big stage.
Yep.
Is it as exciting while you there as we watching it at home?
Oh, it's something that I'll always remember for the rest of my life. because you get the support of everyone. You get the campus support, the students coming out, the crowds. You know, you go out to to a bar or whatever during the weekend. You know, everybody's like, wow, what a game! Great, great, great. And and then obviously you get to the arenas, and every game gets more important. You win the first one, you're like, whoa, now we got Syracuse. We beat Syracuse. Oh, then we get Duke. And we lose to Duke by 1. We were probably one basket away from possibly. If we would have beaten Duke, we would have to play Temple. We played them 3 times. We were about to beat them. I mean, it was one of those things. I thought we might have went to the Final Four that year if we got past Duke.
Wow.
I think that was it, because I think Temple. I think we would have gotten them because we played them 3 times. And every time we were right there, and we just couldn't. So yeah, it was.
It's hard to beat a team 4 times in a row.
Yes, and but Duke was, we started off really slow against them, and then came back at the end and just fell a little short. It's one of my best games I had in the tournament. Actually, it was against the Duke game.
Yeah. You guys was playing amongst the big boys, and you guys stepped up and was playing like big boys. So it just came down towards the end. So salute to you guys.
No, thank you. We had 6 guys. I mean, I don't want to. Obviously, we had a whole team, but it was a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
And we pressed every game all year against the best of the best. And he didn't change that style. And that's what made it amazing, because we were all clocking 32, 33, 34 minutes a game, and we were just, every player knew his role. And Carlton and Tommy were in my opinion, the best backcourt in the country. And
at that time, definitely.
Yeah. And Kenny Green was one of the best forwards in the country. And then, you got some guys around us, John Evans, Bonzi Colson, and myself. We just fed off of what they did. And that we were okay with that. And that's why we won.
Yo, what was it about you guys, man, at Rhode Island, when you guys took out your damn jerseys? It was like y'all turned into different people.
Yeah, we dropped them out. We looked a little sloppy. These days,
everyone, I just thought it was like a Brooklyn thing with you and Silk.
Right.
And then I seen the other guys start doing it. Right. And then that's when you guys turned things up.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hidden message. Take the shirt off, we're ready to go. I was like, and we were a tough group. I mean, we didn't back down to anybody. We really didn't. And I was a credit to our coach, Tom Penders, who he was big on motivation. I mean, he used to tell me I stunk every game, just to piss me off so I could play hard and make me believe that I was a power forward that could out-rebound anybody. And I jumped about this high. But you know what? He made me play hard. And, I look back to that time, and it really helped me in so many different ways. It really did.
Yeah, you got James Majors in the building. He said my man Merge was a hustler. Got Gerald Green in the building. Got Spice in the building.
Oh, yeah. No, these are guys
Joe Jackson in the building. John Askew in the building. Bernard Mitchell in the building.
Man, it's a great names.
A lot of people in here, man. A lot of people here.
These are this is your family, your basketball family as you grew up. One way or another, you're running into these guys, and you're gonna have for life. So,
they all came out to support you, Mark. So
I love it. They're great people, and I wish I could see them often more. We're always around. I'm coaching. I'm always looking for the next guy that I haven't seen in a while. I run into I ran into Tony Hargraves all the time. Tony Hargraves from Fayette.
Yeah.
So me and Tony, we laugh about a lot of stuff. I try to tell my kids at the high school, the stories. A lot of kids don't understand what it means to grow up in Brooklyn and play basketball and build off that. It's really a great, special experience. It really is.
Definitely. So look, man, you played all over the world and catching bodies in major countries. Like you was catching bodies in places people were never even going to step foot in. Okay? 23 points a game, 69 in Portugal. You still hold a record. How was that experience, my brother? Like, come on, that's some big time numbers right there.
Well, the great thing about it is, when you're in college, you want to score more, right? Every player wants to do more, right? But sometimes you don't get those opportunities. So I was so hungry. By the time I got out of college, I was like, man, if I could just now professionally, now to pros, they're paying you to do things, right? So no one's going to restrict you. No one's going to tell you got to. So it opened up a whole new world for me. My first year in Portugal, And it's a funny story because it's how I got my first job. I was at St. Peter's College, and an agent calls me up and goes, "Hey, a coach from Portugal's coming in, and he's going to look at some players." And he wasn't my agent, but he wanted to fill the gym.
Right.
So I got to the gym. There's only 6 guys there. 3 guys that was represented by this agent, and the other 2 were my brother and a friend of mine who just in the gym who plays ball. So we played 3-on-3. It's a true story. And I was killing these guys. But the agent was saying, nah, he's not that good. Get the other guys. So this coach was like, no. I want that guy. And the agent eventually had to say, okay, even though he wasn't my agent. So anyway, I walked over.
Right.
The coach goes, I want you to play for me. And at that time, I just finished college, so I wasn't highly recognized by a lot of people. I took the job. So I was so hungry that the first 3-4 weeks, I was averaging like 39, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. They had me in the top category. I just went completely nuts. I was like a robot, just going. And but it felt great to take 30 shots or 25 shots, so.
Right. Like, come on. Yeah, it's your turn now. Yeah, it's your turn.
And that made me, then I obviously I stayed on and played some really nice leagues. Played against Ginobili, played against Dragan Petrovic, played against Tony Kukoc. I mean, I played against some big boys, man. And, I had some good games, and so I kept playing. I had a nice career there.
So when you go back, do they still celebrate you in Portugal? Right?
Yeah,
you step down, you step down.
I'm in their Hall of Fame, whatever that means. So they inducted me into their Hall of Fame. I was like, great. And in Argentina, they just awarded me one of the best foreigners to ever play for this club in the history of the club. It was like a 30-year something anniversary. I actually played against Ginobili when he was 17 years old. No one knew who he was. In Italy, I guarded him, and in the playoffs. And first half, I did pretty well against him. Second half, he kicked my ass. And after the game, I would call people at home and I would say, "There's a guy here in Italy who I think is going to be a pro and is going to be a really good NBA pro." He was it. And I saw it when he was like 17. Very, very good.
Wow.
Very good. Yeah. So great opportunities. Basketball is great to have if you can continue to play it.
Well, I can see now, early on, before your coaching, you was already mindful of God's games and what they could turn into.
100%, because I've had so many different coaches, so many different philosophies, so many people to learn from. And when you get that type of knowledge and it's packed in, you take what you like, you know what I mean, and you kind of mold it in. And, I had some great coaches, man. I really did. I had some guys that, that I really learned from, and I said, from CYO up to high school, into college, and into the pros. I really had some good coaches around me, and that helped me. It really helped me a lot.
And those things you learned from being all around the world and playing in different places under different coaches, great mentors, how did that help you as a coach?
Oh, it set the stage. It really set the stage. I mean, look, every coach could do some X and O stuff. You know what I mean? Zone, 1-3-1, man-to-man, you could do all that stuff. I think what separates a lot of coaches, I think, from the good ones and the really, really good ones and the great ones is how to adapt, okay, and how to make your players reach their full potential, right? That's the most difficult job as a coach. I'm a believer that if you work hard, you have to have some skill, you have to have some talent, but if you push hard, you play hard, you play for the team, the results are always going to go well for you. And I've experienced that in the past. So that's kind of the philosophy I have, is I really believe in determination and hard work will get a player that's average here, and then a talented player from here to there. And if you could do that, you could build something. And that's what my high school stuff is where I've kind of built around.
Yeah, Spice was saying, yo, Pooh, let me tell you something. Merge, he just was like, yo, Merge, he's the real deal. He's not going out there and fishing for kids. He's coaching what he has, and he's been doing it on a consistent basis. And he said, I would tell you, G, if he was doing it half-assed or he was cheating, the dude is doing it from the bottom up. So you got guys who are still, you know, singing your praise and what you're doing for these kids, man. So congratulations.
No, I appreciate it. Spice is funny because he would come to the games and after a game, he would scratch his head. He's like, Merge. He goes, Merge. He goes, how the hell did you get those two guys to do that? I go, Spice, man. Listen, man. I don't know. Maybe I push them. I'm always, you know, I'm always coaching. You know, I'm very hands-on during the game. I'm very visual, so I see a lot. Sometimes to a fault, because you don't want to be too visual. But guys can't hide from me because, you know, there are little things I see, and if I don't like it, I tell them. You know? So,
right.
So, but that also helps them because some coaches let it go, and bad habits develop. And that's the one thing I don't want for the kids. You know, once you get a bad habit, it's hard to break it, whatever it is. And so I'm really good at that in a sense of get the full potential out of a player, you know, and I think that's important for a coach.
Yeah. I think you're kind of underestimating things a little bit, bro. Who the hell is coaching varsity boys and girls and at a high level? One person? Who's doing that? Tell me.
Well, the way I ended up becoming a coach, actually, I started with the AAU stuff. So I was a coach of an AAU team, one team, but I got a call. I used to work at this place called Hoop Heaven, and I got a call for a girls' varsity coaching position, and it was at Gill St. Bernard School. I go, where? Like I was a Brooklyn guy. I probably knew 2 schools in New Jersey. It was St. Anthony's and St. Pat's.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
I was new to the game, and so I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just came back from overseas. Long story short, I go to school. It's a girls' position. I was like, whoa, I don't know, right? I've never coached at a high school level before. And not that I didn't want to coach the girls, but it is different. And I found out that they were awful. I mean, they just had no program at all. Soccer players trying to play basketball. But I said, you know what? I'll take a challenge and we'll see how it goes. And, you know, first 2 years, I took it on the chin hard. And but then, you know, a couple of kids came in, things started to move a little bit. You know, it's all about culture, right? You build a culture, and then all of a sudden, people follow. And then maybe 3 or 4 years later, we started doing some damage in that county, and you know, we weren't the beat up on school anymore for the girls. I had a player named Deja Simmons who played for me, who was from Jersey City, who also scored over 2,000 points for me. Now, and I'll explain that to you about my system and how the players, even though people call it a system, we're one of the best offensive scoring schools in New Jersey every year. But you have to share the ball. And you'll always have your star player as the most, they'll score the most. But the rest will be right behind him. And that always works. And that's why I think my program has done well. It's not one player scoring, it's 6. For the last 10 years with the boys, my top 5 players have all scored double figures every year. Every year.
That's crazy.
Some will score more. I mean, obviously, you know, some talented more than else, but everybody feels, and there's no, if one guy scores 40 in a game and he only averages 12 a game, number 1, 2, 3, 4 are happy for that guy. And that's the key. The kids got to feel part of the program. You got to treat them the same. And I've done that with the girls, and I moved over to boys, and I've done the same thing.
Wow. Listen, man, the girls were ranked 325th out of 327. That's like, how low can you go?
It was bottom feeder. It was bad. But, you know, we had a snow out game. Right, which we, you know, and we won 4 games, and I had one game which was a snow out game, and I went to my AD and I go, listen, when am I going to make this game up? He looked at me, he went, forget, Merg, it doesn't matter. I go, but now I'm a competitor. I go, no, I want to play the game, whether it's 4, you know, whatever, you know. So, you know, but they didn't understand that at the time of school. You know what I mean? They just thought it was going to be, you know, whatever. And so, you know, initially 3 people in the stands, 4 people, and then all of a sudden, you know, we're getting 50. 200, 500, 700, filling the house up, you know, scoring 70, 80 points a game with the girls, and, you know, and then built that for about 5 to 6 years. And then I jumped over to the boys, and I won 3 county championships with the girls. And then I jumped right over to the boys and won, I think, 6 now. I lose count, man. I'll be honest, I don't even know. At one point, I don't even know my record. I just knew something.
Yo, the numbers you was rolling, I couldn't even keep up. Every text was like a new record. I was just like, damn, did what? 152-5, 63 wins in a row. What the?
Yeah, it was. Now remember, now the boys that came there were 3 kids that were on my first boys team. I coached AAU, called the Hoop Heaven Elite, and with those 3 kids, we went on the AAU circuit and went to like the finals of the Orlando show. I mean, we beat each one. We beat Austin Rivers' team, and people that with a bunch of kids, like we were playing the warm lines, and they're like, these guys, you know, and we would just really do some damage on them. And those kids ended up coming to Gill. And I wasn't their coach the freshman year. We had another coach there who was my AD at the time. And long story short, I had to tell my AD, not that he had to leave his job, but the kids weren't connected to him, you know, and because they wanted to win as freshmen. And he had a goal of them winning as seniors. And my players, I have that mentality. I want to win now.
We winning now.
You know, the mentality, you know. And so it got a little dicey, remember, to my AD. But, you know, he stepped down and let me take the job, and we're great friends. But now I've become the boys coach, and I got a lot of heat because now all the writers in the area, you know, who's this guy? Because, you know, there was some rumblings how I got the job. But these are my kids. So the first day up in my office, I wrote on the board. It's my first day as a high school coach with my boys. After the girls, I go, we will not lose one game in this county this whole year. We're going to run the table. We're going to win the Somerset County Championship, and we're going to go as far as we can in the States. And we didn't lose a game. We ran the table at 16-0. And you know, we won our first county championship for the boys for the school.
Right.
And we ended up losing to the Patrick School in the state tournament in the semifinals, but they were loaded. Gilchrist, you know, and Michael Gilchrist, that you know Kyrie and those guys, so that they were loaded.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just taught. You know, I don't win 80 in a row. You know, I'm a believer. Like you keep putting it on, and until somebody outworks you. And that team was very special. We ended up one year actually getting ranked as high as 11th in the nation. We had gone out to West Virginia. We were a substitute team that no one knew about. We were playing Mater Dei out of California. They were ranked number 4 in the nation. And we were a substitute team. It was down in where they had all the top teams in the nation. We were like a team, you know, a bunch of local guys from New Jersey. So we're warming up and places packed and people were laughing, literally laughing. What is this team doing here? Because we don't look the part, you know? And we're playing Mater Dei, who I think ended up with 3 future pros on that team.
Yeah, yes, powerhouse.
And all of a sudden, you know, beginning, you know, back and forth a little bit. People are like, okay. And all of a sudden, it became a war. And now the people in the stands are going crazy because now they're saying, wow, look at this team. And we ended up going to overtime against them. And we ended up beating Mater Dei in overtime, which is hard because it was one of the best wins for my program. And the Mater Dei coach ran over to the director of the tournament and started screaming at him. He said, you set me up. Who is this team? I'm trying to win a national championship, and now I lost to Gill St. Bernard's out of New Jersey. So that kind of put us on the map a little bit. That was a great win for the program. And then things just started going from there. You know, things started moving along. And, so I've been there for now with the boys. It's going to be my 11th season.
Wow. So those 3 players that you came with, those guys, they scored almost 6,000 points in their career, and now they're in college. Tell me something about those 3 guys.
They played since the 5th grade together. They were the combination was crazy because my son Jaren and the kid Matola were connected in so many ways. They both played similar game, and I tell you, they would ring off 11, 12 threes a game with their eyes closed. And when you're making 11 threes a game, it's hard. You're hard to beat. And they were shooting from NBA range. And the kid Hoffman was the prototypical big guy who knew how to pass right from the post and kick it out and rebound, do all the dirty work. So it was like a triangle, which was really impressive. And what they
especially at that level.
Yeah, they were. And again, like I mentioned, the thing with that group is crazy. And I tell people this. my son Jaren ended up scoring 2,100 and something points, right? It was an all-time leading scorer in Somerset County history. Alex Nicola could have probably broken that because we didn't know where he was going to 2,000 because there were games I could have kept him in a few more games. He would have scored.
Right.
No, he would have scored 2,000, and Hoffman was only 120 points. So I had 3 players on the team that were in my opinion, with 2,000 points score on the same high school team.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
No, I don't know if it's unheard of. I don't even know if it's even out there or even close to that.
Right.
So, but then they set the mark. They set the mark, the culture, and then kids started to follow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what is your perception of the state of New York City basketball since you're not too far away in New Jersey?
Yeah, look, I feel bad a little bit because I think what's happened now, because of the prep school situation and all the recruiting that's going on, it's lost a little bit from when I remember. You know, I mean, they still have some great team. Long Island Lutheran, I know, is doing well. I think Christ the King still does well, but I don't know if it has that same feel as when I grew up. Every team in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go to a gym and think you're getting out of there with an easy win. So the balance was, I think it was more of a balance back then. And I think a lot of New York City kids are coming to Jersey, and a lot of them are going to prep schools. So it's kind of hurt New York basketball a little bit. Yeah.
Listen, I was talking to one of my guys about this whole situation, and I remember the write-ups the Daily News used to do on us, right?
Right.
And they were motivating because they even put out the Golden Hoops for us, and then guys started going, you know, to the AAU circuit and going to different camps, and that kind of hurt the Daily News and what they were trying to do for us and their business, right? And then in turn, they don't even write about high school sports no more.
No, it's got
like it's not even. If you can't find it online somewhere, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
And if you look at it online, it's just a bunch of makes. You don't see any strategy. You don't see any errors. It's just made shots.
Yeah. Now it's all changed, and you know we've got to social media now, so which I think, look, it helps you with promotion of stuff, but I also think it hurts the kids a little bit because the kids get so much pressure now because if they're ranked, they gotta, you know what I mean? It's like back then, your ranking went day to day who you played against. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could look good one day, and if you didn't bring your game, you didn't look good that day, and that's how people would judge you. So you had to play hard. Playing hard and winning would get you what you needed back then. Now, you could lose 12 games on a weekend. No one's going to care.
That's right.
You know,
get a couple of oohs and ahs, and you know, now you're a legend.
Yeah, no, 100%. No. It's a different time. But that's why it's important for us to teach the kids the importance of just keep working hard. You're going to get that if you're good enough. You know, believe in the process. Sometimes some kids, you know, won't do that, and they get persuaded by others, and you know, bad decisions are being made. Because I feel bad for a lot of kids because, as you know, I mean, to be a Division I basketball player, it's like less than 1.5% of the country who can make it at that level. So you know, I'm hoping the important thing is we get good coaches. You get good coaches, and the kids are in good hands. But you know, and that's really hopefully that guys that really have a passion for it stick around.
And but this is what you're doing for on the teacher side with your Sina Hoop Academy. Tell me something about that.
So I run a basketball academy. I do it outside of obviously of Gill, just local kids in the area. You know, I listen, basketball's for everybody. You know, not to be the most talented kid, you know, to play. The most important thing is, you know, try to get these kids to develop a passion for the sport. You know, I coach the same way with a 6th grade team that I coach with my high school team. People say, you're nuts. You're coaching 12 games this weekend the same way you coach in high school. And by the end of the weekend, I'm like, I'm shot. But I have fun with it. And it's the passion. I really do. Look, my daughter played at a high level. My son played at a high level. My wife loved basketball. My life was – so we're a basketball family. So I don't think I could have done anything else that I would have been happy with.
That's dope, man. So who are the best players you played against in high school, college, and in professional? Well, we already know Ginobili.
Yeah. I got some in high school. I mean, obviously Mark Jackson and Kenny Smith. Kenny Smith was a problem. I mean, he was. I mean, they're talking about in our conference. So those two were very, very good. In college, I'll be honest with you, my first game was in Puerto Rico with Seton Hall, and we played against Georgetown, and that was probably the first time in my life I was scared as hell to be on that court. Those dudes,
with the big guy, right? All of them had the high top sneakers, right?
But they were like
they was Bisou.
I was a scrawny.
They were mean on the court.
Scrawny high school kid, freshman, and I'm staring at Patrick Ewing and Michael Williams, and I'm looking at these guys. I'm like, wait, that's nothing compared to what I just saw in high school. Not even close.
Right.
I mean, Patrick Ewing was great. I mean, Chris Mullen I played against, he was great in high school. Walter Berry. I mean, listen, the Big East was the Big East. You know,
yeah.
It's a great conference. And, you know, the pros, like I said, I mean, you know, I played against Dino Raja, you know, I told Drazen Petrovic, Kukoc. I played a lot of those dudes, man. They were really good. But, yeah, I had an opportunity to do that, and that's what's great about it. You know, you get some stories out of it. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome, man. You had a great journey,
yep.
and it's still going on.
Yep.
And what you're doing for these kids, man, is unbelievable. And it's not even more about the winning for me, right? It's about your passion, right?
Yep.
I can feel your passion when you speak about your kids and how much you care about them and how much you want to see them succeed in life outside of basketball. Basketball is a vehicle to help them succeed. Then you're doing it.
No, that's the most important thing, you know, because at the end, the gratification is right. You watch them on TV. My gratification is watching them on TV. I'll sit back,
yeah,
I'll drink a Coke or whatever I have, and I'll sit there and just smile. I mean, that's what I really want from the kids. And that doesn't have to be at Division I level. It could be at Division III, Division II. It doesn't matter for me. It's
right.
not you know, I don't have an ego about playing these guys and going to Kentucky and Duke. I mean, that's great if they could get there. But I just want the kids to experience some of what I experienced in college, if they have an opportunity to do it, because it is a great sport. And
yeah.
It does bring people together, and that's what's important, you know.
Yeah, and saying that, I want to send an extra shout out to my guy, my mentee, Jaheim Williams. He's in Jackson College in Michigan. This guy beat all the odds, man, and making it.
Those are the ones you love. Those are the ones you remember. Man. Yeah.
From the bottom.
Yeah, it's important.
Right? Teaching him how to make a layup, and then now he's doing it on another stage. So.
Those are the great stories. Those are the ones.
I respect it when you say, man, I do it from scratch.
Yeah.
Because we get a lot of coaches out here they apple picking. They take it from here. They take it from here. And they put they all-star team together, and they win a bunch of games, you know. And that's fine and dandy. But when you make it from scratch, it means more.
No, and I'll be honest with you. Look, I mean, we're in one of the toughest conferences, and not when we talk about non-public B, when we go into the state tournament, you know, we had St. Anthony's with the great legendary Bob Hurley. We had the Patcher School with Kevin Boyle was there, and even now Shavanis is doing a great job with those guys. Roselle Catholic is now pretty much, you know, the king of the hill, New Jersey basketball. You know, we have Hudson Catholic, Immaculate Conception. I could keep going on. Randy, who had 2 McDonald's All-American. Like, non-public B is a gauntlet. It really is. And we, you know, we're right there. We're right there with all, you know, all the big boys. And you know, I don't know how many schools really want to play us. I love to play against the best. I played Montverde. I'll play the Sierra Canyons. I want my kids to play against the best competition and not be afraid of a challenge. Win or lose,
That's right.
I don't care. But I want them to see. Very easy for me not to schedule 10. I could go 28-1 every year, and you know, I probably end up with 700 wins by now. But I decided, and I always wanted to do, because my own personality, I didn't want to play, you know, a schedule that will just, you know what I mean? The record looks great.
Get you the right, yeah.
You know, I want to play the best. Like I said, we played Modern Day. We played Randy 2 years ago with 2 McDonald's All-Americans. They were number 5 in the division. We knocked them off. You know, so these are the teams. You know, we beat St. Anthony's one year. How many teams could say they beat St. Anthony's?
Right. Right. Not too many teams in New York City.
No. So it's very rare. The Patcher School we've beaten a few times. You know, so I'm right here.
Yeah, I talked to you about that because my guy Tiny's out there at the Patcher School.
Yep.
How did you guys do against them last year?
Well, we didn't run into them because they were in the other bracket. So we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, they were loaded. They had some players. but they had some injuries last year. Kaminga was hurt, so they had some struggles. So yeah, kind of things didn't go as planned for them. I think lost a big game to Roselle Catholic, and then we ended up playing Roselle Catholic in the next game, and we were up 10 with like 3 minutes to go, and we just kind of turned the ball over a few times, and we ended up losing like by 1. But
Right.
like I said, man, we're I'm happy to again. I built it from I don't want to say from scratch, but you know what I mean. It was very. I love the fact that I remember my program where it was and where it is now, and I did it the right way. I really think I felt I did it the right way because kids are getting a great education, they're getting great basketball, and I think I'm okay, coach. It depends on who you talk to. So
Listen, bro.
so I'm just trying
They will be coming soon. The big colleges will be. I know they're already knocking at your door already, bro. But they will be coming soon. Trust me. And I'm quite sure once you get there, we'll be seeing you holding up their national banner, their national championship one day. Because I just know what kind of fire you're gonna bring, brother.
No, I appreciate that. That sounds great. That sounds great.
So what I want to do, right? I'm gonna show you your artwork.
Okay.
Right? But I don't want to lose you, so I'm gonna go out and come back in.
Okay.
All right? And then you can see your artwork, all right?
I agree. That'd be great. Awesome.
Come back, everybody. Come back. We're gonna show Merge his artwork. Hope my God is ready to show me.
Awesome.
All right. All right.
Good stuff.
All right.
Good stuff.
All right.
All right.
What's going on? What's going on, world? We back. I'm gonna plug a few things real quick. We still doing the big with Game Over. Basketball Head's official sponsor. We got the Game Over trophy that will be sent out to Rafa Austin and Ron Strickland this week. All right, along with the pictures, and also I got my guy Delbert Prince. He'll be coming up to Basketball Head soon. He wrote a book called The History of Coney Island Basketball, Part 1 and Part 2. Delbert Prince, The History of Coney Island Basketball, Part 1, Part 2. All right? So now, let's check out my guy, Merge artwork. Y'all ready? Done by my guy, Jamel Powell.
Yeah. You stepped into the world.
Woo! All right, fam.
I'm back.
All right, you got a chance to see the picture?
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great, man. That's awesome stuff right there. That's awesome stuff. Really nice.
Yeah. My guy does his thing. So just make sure, text me your information. I'll send it out to you because I have a whole slew. Hold on for a sec. Because I gotta show my man work, right? Because I don't think people can understand it. Right, look at this shit. It's crazy. Only for you, Merge. Right? Boom. So, who's this? Ron Strickland for last night.
Wow. That's awesome.
Right?
That is awesome.
Look at Ron. Look just like Ron, right?
Oh man, that's awesome.
Who else we got here?
Hey, I got a bone to pick with Ron Strickland. I told you.
Oh, yeah. tell your story, Merge. Tell the story.
Well, I was supposed to play against him. Long story short, I was supposed to play against him they had this one-on-one championship, Big Apple sponsored. I won Brooklyn. He won the Bronx. I was supposed to go out there. We were supposed to play. I ran into traffic, never got there. They gave me a forfeit. So he ended up winning. He ended up winning a lifetime supply of Welch's grape juice or something. So I didn't care about the Welch's grape juice, but I was so pissed off. I wanted to play him. They wouldn't let me play him one-on-one. They go, it's too late.
Yo, that is funny, yo.
So,
Yo, and that goes to show on that snowstorm when they wanted to cancel the game, you still wanted to play.
that's the one to play, man. That's the one to play.
That's my guy.
Yeah, that's the one to play.
Lamont Long, he was part of the 1981 Boys High Championship team.
That's great stuff, man. That is great
Or
stuff.
1979.
That's
going
great
back.
stuff, man.
Kennard Robinson, UMass.
Nice. I want to see a picture of Silk. Because Silk, you have one of Silk? Because he had one. Silk had one tooth. People don't realize Silk used to play with one tooth when he saw.
Yes. Silk, yes. Here's Silk right here.
Where's the mouth? You'll be. You guys will be a nice.
Oh, wow.
The one tooth.
The one
Yeah.
tooth.
Yes. He was in Sports Illustrated with that joint.
That's right. That's right.
We thought we lost Rafa Pitcher, my artist. He had it behind the wall somewhere.
Nah, that's some good stuff right there, man. That was a hell of a player. Oh man.
Listen, man, this is what we try to do for our guys, man.
Nah, I
Look,
appreciate it.
we want to give you guys your flowers and your crowns while you're still here. We're going through a crazy time in the world.
No,
And we want to make sure that our guys from New York never be forgotten.
no, I appreciate that, and I hope that some of the people that are watching this from my area understand that I'm not that soft kid from New Jersey.
That's right. That's right. He come from a long line of ballers here in New York City. Check this out. Laura Milley. She was 1989 Gatorade Player of the Year from Christ the King.
Very nice.
And I want to say Dr. Laura Milley.
There you go.
And she just wrote a book.
There you go. Well,
Treatment,
I
man.
haven't read the book yet, but that's beautiful. That's great.
Yes. Yes. Brenda Caldwell, Hunter College, great.
There you go.
She's one of the top female players to ever come out of New York City.
That's
She
beautiful.
was honored by Pro Rucker and all the basketball tournaments, West Fourth and everywhere else.
That's beautiful. Very nice.
She was killing guys. I think Ray Haskins coached her. Like, this is
That's
sick.
it. That's when they become players, man. They go play with the boys. They don't care. They come out.
That's right.
That's right. I tell
That's
my
right.
daughter when she grew up, play with the boys. That's how you get better. You know?
That's right. Hey, Merge, I'm not going to keep you, man. Thank you.
really
I appreciate you.
No.
We're going to stay in contact, brother.
Please
And
do.
I'm coming up to New Jersey, man. I need to come watch you guys play, man. I need to do
Hey,
that.
come down here, and you're not going to get any Brooklyn pizza, but you'll get some good food out. It's my treat. All right.
Got you. Got you. Do that.
Take care.
Salute, my guy. All right.
Thank you.